Welcome back, you filthy exiles. Yancey's sitting in the background being a can't say the word on YouTube. But anyway, we're both at Exilecon, and so yeah, we went and saw some of the stuff, checked out obviously the keynote this morning, and the biggest thing, if not with everything else that's going on, is some of the meta shifts and changes to some of the skills in PoE 2. One of which being, which I'm going to play footage here briefly of, is now in PoE 2 you'll be able to hybrid skills. Yancey, what's your opinion of that? Yeah, he likes the change. This is good. Anyway, let's watch the clip out of the video so you guys don't have to watch through 30 to 40 minutes or whatever of footage, and then we'll talk about it a little bit.
And generic elemental damage increases are not going to be as powerful as focusing on a single element. Well, in PoE 2 we have another major new system to introduce to solve these kinds of problems, and it starts with weapon swap. Now in PoE 1, weapon swap isn't really used much for its originally intended use case. We imagined that people were going to be swapping in and out between different weapons to deal with whatever situation they were in. People just don't do that at all, and a large reason for that is because it's really awkward to do. In PoE 2 we wanted to solve that. The staff Octavian is using here has an ice mod on it that makes it great for when he's using his ice spells.
So one of the other observations here on screen is you'll also notice, and we'll do a video of this on probably Monday or Tuesday, is that now a lot of items actually have skills baked into them from level 1. So when you get the drop, you can actually now get the skills straight away, like Fireball or whatever, and it's free to cast based on what we were told today.
We'd also like to be able to make sure that the build works just as well for his lightning spells. If Octavian equips his previous staff in his second weapon set, you can see that it appears on the character's back. Now we're going to open up the skills screen. If Octavian opens up the skill options for his lightning skills, you can see here that you can choose which weapon sets are usable with each skill. First, we uncheck set 1 from being used by his lightning skills.
So this is really interesting, this mechanic. So similar to the D4 Arsenal system, now you can actually select which skill you want to equip, or which skill you want to equip based on the weapon you have installed on your build, and it'll actually automatically switch to the right item. So if you have a flame staff with flame skills, you can equip that, and an ice staff with ice skills, but this gets really interesting in the next minute or so.
Then we go through the cold skills and turn those off with his lightning weapon. Now, when we use Spark, the character will automatically switch to the lightning staff on his back, and then use the skill. When Octavian uses Ice Nova, his character automatically switches over to his ice staff before using it. Figure each skill for which set to use, or both if you don't mind which. There's a very short time penalty to switching, so it can be good to leave some skills on both sets if it doesn't matter which weapon set you're using. But we still have the problem of...
And it starts to get crazier from here, because now we're going to talk about the skill tree system and how that works with skill tree points.
But we still have the problem of passives. Wouldn't it be nice if we could specialize in both cold and lightning passives on the character? Well, in PoE 2 you can. We're on the passive skill screen here, and you can see that we're close to both a cold and a lightning cluster. At the top right of the screen, you can see where we have some weapon set specific points to allocate. If Octavian holds shift, he can allocate set 1 to the cold passives, and then allocate set 2 to the lightning passives. Now check this out. As we weapon swap, our passive tree changes from one build to the other automatically. Whenever we cast the appropriate spell, the character's passives reconfigure on the fly to the correct build for that.
And this can pretty much be applied to any skill from what we've been told. So this will apply to melee skills, it'll apply to range skills. The other thing was that even with the skills that you can equip, so if you play the monk, you can still play monk skills on the warrior. And you could have like for example, a Jugger Monk or something like that, and you could do exactly this and switch everything up. It's opened up a whole new way of building builds, but it'll also drive us to use multi-weapon builds moving forwards, which means you could have two completely different affinities set up in the one build, which is really cool.
Spell. Now you can't do this with every passive on your tree. Only points granted from skill books will allow this kind of dual specialization. So you can't change from a mace slamming warrior into a fire elementalist with the press of a button, but it certainly increases the number of options you have for builds.
And so part of the skill books comes from boss completion. And so there was a whole video or a whole session that we had today around bosses, which they're going to be releasing in the live streams tomorrow morning. And it basically talks about doing the bosses as actually beneficial leveling up moving forwards, because there's similar to D2, the exact words were similar to D2. The rarity drop rates and everything will result in better drops than the initial drop when you complete them, which will also drive players to complete the skill book challenges. So then we can do multi-weapon builds like this, or hybridized weapon builds, which is probably what we're going to start calling it.
There's a huge number of places where the
Yancey said it was freaking sick as well.
system can shine. You could augment your Dagger Shadow build with traps, or have a great curse setup on your Witch in one spec and then move to your Chaos debuff spells with the other. It really opens up your options.
And so we'll cut this one here, but there's so much content. So there's also Cast on Shock coming into it. There's also some, there's some ridiculous build mechanics that are going to be opened up to us moving forwards. And we're not even talking about the high levels of mobility. We now have dodge mechanics that are built into the game. And so they covered off on a lot of those sessions today, which they'll be uploading tomorrow. But anyway, I thought I'd just coin one really significant thing out from Exilecon. And by the way, everyone in the freaking room was going crazy, including Yancey. Anyway, until next time, don't forget to like and sub to the channel, and also follow the Twitch. There'll be plenty of breakdown stuff coming from me for Path of Exile 2 when I get back home. And in the meantime, I've also got access to the new hideout, so I'm probably going to put a video up tonight for that as well. Anyway, I'll see you guys later, and bye.